This class will explore the QUATTRO paradigm. The methods we use to run our business and the way we think about these methods can make the difference between success or failure. Well, what does paradigm mean? Well, paradigm means a certain way of thinking about something that is generally accepted. It can also mean a standard or a routine method of achieving a result. It's basically how we look at things. Have you ever been asked the question, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? Well, apparently you're a pessimist if you say the glass is half empty, and an optimist if you say the glass is half full. But what if the glass is actually full, you just needed a smaller glass? Remember the quote from Albert Einstein. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Well, if our paradigm is the way we look at things, let's focus on exactly what this program is and how we should be looking at it. Well, we're going to look at it in two ways. First of all, let's look at it from the point of view of you as the business owner. And we'll also look at it as how it impacts on your customers or students, if you will. How will this impact on them? What will be provided for them? Because this is the most important aspect of the program. It's not just that it's a fantastic business model that you can employ with your talents, but what are you giving the people you bring into this? Can they have a successful business? Because remember the old saying, business success is simple, but not easy. Well, we'll expand on that a little bit in a moment. But the idea is very clear. We have to be focused on how we perceive our business, and in turn, how we react. Well, in the QUATTRO system, our compensation plan is very simple. It's based on the number 4, quad. A quad, quattro. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Okay, now, what does this 4 mean to us? Well, that is what we are after. A very simple business model that if we will in fact get our quad filled, our initial quad, we will have systematic growth. Systematic growth simply means that the system will provide the growth as we keep the emphasis in the right place, and that is qualification, which again we're going to explain in just a moment. Now, a simple business model? Absolutely. One that has high reward, low risk. Why is this? Well, as you'll see in our compensation plan, an individual receives 100% of the proceeds of their business. Well, that's standard with any business. Well, what that means is, since the business is that of having a school, having tuition being paid to you, when you have one student paying you tuition, then of course your tuition is paid and you have absolutely no risk because with one student, you've broken even. Next, it's a business that will allow you to better manage your time. Why? Because we know you have family obligations. We know you probably have the day job and maybe even a couple of other jobs. But even with all of the different obligations you have, it's a business that will allow you to work around your schedule. Yes, we have live classes, but they're always recorded for your convenience. The idea being you can have a successful business that will let you manage the time. Next, it's not a business that requires you to have to go out and have the ability to talk to large groups of people. Now, let me point something out to you that's usually true. You have the ability to motivate, lead, guide, and direct others. Fantastic. But do the people that you bring into this, do they always have the same skill? If they don't, some provision has to be made to allow them to manage their groups the same way you would. Their people need to be motivated. Their people need to explain the program to them. What can be done that allows us to get this information to others the same way as you would do it if you were doing it for yourself? There is a formula for success. That's our paradigm, how we view the road to success. It's very simple. Again, simple but not easy. Yes, it's a simple process. It's a simple compensation plan. Why is it so simple? You get 4 people, and you allow those people to get 4 people, and the goal then is going to be to have the system grow. You got 4, they all get 4, and everything works. Well, it isn't that easy, as you know. So when we talk about the fact that we need our 4 people, of course, we continue to dwell on how do we get those 4 people. Well, the way you do that is you want to focus on one element at a time. And we interject the part in there when we ask the question, how do you have others get accomplished the same thing you would do if you were doing it for yourself? We introduce you to the admission counselor. This one element, we believe, is the unique part of the QUATTRO education system. We use our people. This is a paid staff that's at your disposal. Their job is to answer the questions. You have a brand new person. Now, normally you would answer questions for all the people, but what about a person who has come into the system that you don't even know? Great, you've got a customer that's paying you tuition. You don't know them personally, but you know there's someone available to them to answer their questions and to answer the questions of the people that they are exposing this program to. But to do more than just answer questions, to actually walk them through the enrollment process, to lead, guide, direct, motivate them, being able to give them the techniques that will allow them to be successful. Because as we said, if we can focus them on one piece at a time, then this admission counselor will allow you to talk about that quad. We're able to do it one step at a time. So, step one, use the indirect marketing. In other words, the counselors, admission counselors that will allow you to gain one student. Congratulations, you now have your first student. This can be done simply by giving out the phone number and your office code, which tells the admission counselor, get this person enrolled in your school, answer their questions, help them make the right decision. You have your first person. With your first person, your tuition is paid with just the one student, because 100% of the proceeds, you receive 100% tuition from this person, paid directly to you. This in turn means that you're no longer paying for your own tuition, your business is paying for it. And that's really the goal. Any business is going to pay for itself. That's really the plan. I mean, that should go without saying, right? But in this instance, this is how it happens right away. So, second step, we get our first qualifying student. Now, what are we trying to do to qualify? We're trying to get our 4 people. Okay? We first of all added our first one. Now we were able to pay our tuition. We added our second person, and here we are. Now, our first qualifying student will go transferred to the class of the individual who sponsored us. The same person that was our admitter is going to receive our first qualifying individual, our second student. Next, step 3, is we still use the indirect marketing again to gain one more student. This now actually generates a monthly income. We're not just breaking even, now we're actually making some money. We've got our third person. We're actually making $125 per month, not just the first month paid directly to you, but month after month as a residual income. Then, the last step, qualification. This is where you will have the actual growth. This is the goal. We can't emphasize this enough, because once you are qualified, and what got you qualified? You took 2 students, number 2, number 4, and sent them to the class of the person who enrolled you. That qualified you. You never, from this point forward, send any more students anywhere. You're qualified. Well, what are you qualified for? You're now qualified for systematic growth, which means that all the people in your program, to get themselves qualified, will be sending you 2 students each. And those same 2 students, they're going to need to get qualified. They'll be sending you 2 students. And when we say sending you a student, we mean a paying student paying you $125 per month, month after month. Each student comes in. We use the admission counselors, refer them to them, and they help this person get in there and get qualified. And they do so by paying you, simply by sending you 2 students. Okay. So, we say it's simple. What do we mean? Well, very simple. With qualification, each student will send you 2 new students in order to qualify themselves. Simple enough? Yes, it is if you're using the admission counselors. So is it easy? Well, these admission counselors are there for that purpose. When you have something that's simple, if something isn't easy, what do? You get help. You're a business owner. Any business owner that needs any assistance, whether it's taxes, whether it's accounting, or you name it. If you needed to have your business rewired, you would call an electrician. Well, if you need help in your business getting your people to the right place with the right answers, making the right decisions, you employ an admission counselor. This is part of the process. This isn't something you pay extra for. You don't pay them a commission. They get paid a salary to do this. It's their job to take what is not normally easy for you to do with yourself, with your schedule, with your limited abilities and time to devote to these folks, or not just yours, but those of the individuals you've put in. They're trying to get qualified. They're trying to get their 4. We make it easy because we have the professionals do their job. You refer these folks, your people refer these folks to that admission counselor, and that's the part that will make this thing happen. Because the focus now shifts to the new student as the class will now grow. That's the difference. We want the focus now shifted from where we were to where we need to be. You're no longer out there finding new students. You're now out there making sure that the students you had found are being directed to getting their qualifying groups, and every time they do, they're sending you people. Your growth comes from now. You can, in fact, add more people yourself. Certainly you can, but you're not required to. That's the difference. Some people think this thing is a giant project that's going to require them to go out and get a bunch of students, and that their growth is going to be dependent on getting lots and lots of students paying them $125 a month. Well, it absolutely is. The difference is it's not requiring you to go out and get student after student. It's requiring you to get qualified so that as others get qualified themselves, you have the growth. Get your 4 people and you get qualified. So, what is the QUATTRO paradigm? Let's make it simple. It's a way of looking at this in 4 simple steps. We don't look ahead to say, yes, it's going to be great and wonderful someday. I'm going to have 40 students. I'm going to be making $1,000 per week. But to get there, what do I have to do? 1 step at a time. The first step is very simple. I'm going to use admission counselors to get my first student. I've now broken even. I'm going to do this again. My second student is going to be transferred to the class that brought me in. That's my first qualifying student. The third person is going to go into my classroom, and I'm actually making $125 per month profit. The fourth student, and I'm qualified. I now no longer are required to add any more students, and I will have systematic growth. Because the 2 students that remained, they too are working with the admission counselors to get qualified. And the qualification, as we know, simply means they're going to find 4 students, and 2 of those are going to be yours. They will be paying you $125 per month. Those 2 students are going to be doing the exact same thing everyone else does, working with the admission counselors, getting their 4 people, getting their quad filled, sending you 2 students that are paying you $125. Those 2 students doing the same thing, sending you 2 students paying you $125. Now, it sounds like a repetitive cycle, and that's exactly what it is. But the difference in this and any other program that requires that type of activity is that we interject the one ingredient that makes the difference. Those 4 people are being assisted by professionals that work for you to get them where they need to be. And that's the QUATTRO paradigm. We don't expect you to do this on your own. You may have the skill to do this on your own, but the people that you bring into this, those that are relying on this program for their income, are going to do it with the assistance of those professionals that make the QUATTRO program. QUATTRO education system, that's our paradigm. That's how we see it.